story has to be about something, I suppose. This one says, I lose my head as the feeling starts to grow. You know, I feel a love thumping at the doors of my heart. All of my stories start and end with a girl. This girl was a fifth former, year 11. The year was 1980. Young love blossomed until I asked her out and she asked me had I ever heard of the Specials. I never made that mistake again. From that moment I became a rude boy. And that's an artist's impression of me, isn't it? My name is Simon John Dennan. My Dennan family arrived here in Port of Whanganui in 1865. My mother's side of the family arrived on the Arab in Wellington in 1840. I'm not tangata whenua, I'm Pākehā, I'm tangata moana, I'm Oceanian. This is what I'm trying to do. People would say, why? You're looking at me, I know I scream reggae when you look at me. So what I was trying to do is create a way of working with young people outside schools in a public pedagogy space using reggae and associated arts. In 1979, Bob Marley came to New Zealand as part of the Babylon by Bus tour. It was his last tour before he passed with cancer, and it had a huge impact on the local musicians, both here in Aotearoa as well as in Oceania. And so reggae became part of our musical language. Reggae's international appeal has been adopted by lots and lots of our local musicians. And I use reggae and the Rastafarianism through the metaphors of Babylon and Zion. Babylon is the things that oppress us. We are born into it. It's what Marley talks about when he talks about mental slavery. It's the same thing that Boal talks about when he talks about cops in the head. Zion is the negation. It's the opposite. It's the thing to be. It's returning home. So roots reggae, which is what Marley was doing, tends to question the causes of this oppression and emphasises freeing oneself from it. So Oceania reggae is a slightly different thing, with different themes in it. Return to the land, natural resources, practicing political autonomy, the right to speak ancestral languages, and a statement of freedom of religion. And if you want to go home while you're waiting tonight, before you go to Auckland for dinner, and you've got Spotify, please look up Stan and the Earth Force, the greatest reggae band in the world. That's in Port Villa, so no one hears them. Or Nio, or Three Houses Down from Otara, who are proud and speak wherever they go, their pride and where they come from. Or my spiritual advisor, Tingy Ness's Unity Pacific. For the young crazy kids here who know Shea Fu, that's his dad. So what did I do? I'm trying to get through all the theory crap so I can show you stuff. Alright, so this is what I did. So I had 3 ways of co-researchers. I used community-based participatory action research. I had no participants. Every person involved in this is a co-researcher with me with equal rights to tell their story. I had no data. Data is a horrible word. My co-researchers create artifacts. And these are the artifacts I carry with me, on me, and inside me, on their behalf. So we create poems, images, and photographs, and I'll show you some of them very shortly, that show the oppression and inequality in their communities. And then what I do is I take those things, the Port Villa stuff that I was working on in Port Villa, I took that and gave it to the Otara Reggae band. And the stuff that the young people in South Auckland were working with, I took to Port Villa and gave to the Port Villa Reggae band. And those bands created songs based on that research and their own personal lived experiences. And that was performed live in reggae festivals last year. And as things work in Vanuatu, where there is no music industry, there's no copyright, there's no taxation, pass between each other on disc drives. And then finally we had and installation, because I was trying to drip things into people slowly. And people came, heard, saw, listened, and then asked these questions. What does Zion look like, and what is the first step to get there? So this is an example of the Port Villa banner. And the languages on there, there's English, there's Bishlama, which is Pidgin. It's the official language of Vanuatu. There's Japanese. I think there might be some French there as well. So this is what. So we started the workshop, the first workshop, with thanks, bro. Blackout poetry. People had a text that described what Babylon was, and they just blacked out the bits that didn't resonate with them. So that every person was left with an individual poem expressing what they thought Babylon was. And this is one of the examples of the, I think this is in Port Villa. One of the problems with when you work in metaphor, especially in song, is that people don't necessarily understand the metaphor the same way as you do. So to unpack what Babylon design was, we worked through these poetic steps, and then we did an image of transition, a Boal activity. Renamed for this to as image of Exodus, as we moved from Babylon to Zion, metaphorically and through the taxes. Whoops. So here's one of the first images. So this is an image of Babylon. This comes through very strongly in the research that one of the agents of Babylon is education. And this is Albert, being a traditional school teacher. Those Australians who have SBS will know Albert from the great show Love Patrol. It's like in New Zealand, that's the shortened street of Vanuatu. And then they transitioned that image from that type of teaching to a different type of teaching. And then in South Auckland, we go from this image, right, of a religious image.
Right, just give them a chance. Alright, so when I say we're going to go one, we start and finish on three. 1, 2, 3. Excellent.
So again, another major agent of Babylon, as seen by these young people, was religion, and that comes through in both sides. The other major one was the criminal code. So from those activities, we went out with cameras to try and find Babylon in our communities. And this is a shot from Port Villa, and this interview that went with it. It's a show interview, and it's what this young person said about the things that from that photo that were oppressing him. So in 2017, sitting with a young man under a corrugated iron roof in the heat of Port Villa, and him talking to me about how he feels his people have been made slaves, it's kind of a tough day. And then in Auckland, we have this image. And Matt, a party house student, described it as this. So as I said, we turned that into some reggae, and this is performed at the Fest Napun last year, or the year before, so 2016 I said that. And this is the concern is, I'll just play a little bit because I don't want, this is a 7-minute epic. holding a West Papa flag there, and he just finished before they were singing. He talked to the crowd about Babylon and what was happening in Port Villa and what was happening, it's still happening in West Papa. He went from saying that thinking that Babylon was the place to start telling me that Babylon was everywhere. And that, I think, is the definition of Gramsci's organic intellectual. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I think we have
Dina.
5 minutes for questions now.
No, which one?
Oh, they want to do that again?
She's trying to free that chair.
Sorry.
You want to say no, right? Okay, five minutes for each one. Questions, comments?
Any questions?
No, but
I would say,
because people will
well done.
forget.
And I had a message to you, Rudy, as my phone number for,
Sure.
these. Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah, 10 minutes is not a lot of time.
That's a big thing.
Anything else?
And it,
So, did you have the thesis component, or was it all creative practice?
No, it's a thesis attached to it as well.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, do you have video recordings that you're?
There are audio recordings throughout, yeah. And that's those you can download yourselves tonight. SoundCloud. Yeah. So that last bit, the concerners with the K performing. That's at the National Reggae Festival, and there are 8,000 people standing in front of them hearing that song. And I kind of think that's a quicker way of getting your pedagogy out than writing a book. So 8,000 people might agree.
Simon, did you get a chance to talk to them afterwards
Yeah,
about
absolutely.
what their experience, like, what was their response to actually doing that, having 8,000 hearing?
Yeah, so each of the Struggle is the song, and there's 3 lyricists there, Albert Teo, who was sitting there, and Shem, who's a rapper. It changed the way that they wrote songs because of the information. It is their most popular song. I've been seeing them again live since, and it's what people wanted to hear. So yeah, and I've walked into random places in Port Villa when I've been there, and people have played it, and yeah, it's been a really interesting way for the band to promote themselves as well. Yeah, it's a fun band. Yeah, there's we practiced with like 7 people. We turned up and recorded it. To record it, there were 10 people. And it starts off with custom. There's a conch playing at the start of the recorded version, and then it finishes with a bamboo pipe. There's Bishlama in it, so it's a bilingual song. It's, yeah, I know it's mine, but I'm really, really proud of that. You know, I've done nothing else in my life. I was part of that. So.
You do your research, huh?
Yeah, and the doctorate doesn't matter because we did that. In the end, that we did that. So, anything else?
thank you.